Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 327. How's it going, guys? I just got back from the VA from my appointment and all the way home listening to the news. It's I know you can figure out what this is about because what I titled the episode, which is really important. So what I'm gonna do is, before I go into any other part of the JP8 report, we're gonna go over this for a few minutes. All right, because some people aren't allowed to surf the internet, or I don't know, you're watching a podcast if you are. But I didn't think about that part. But I'm gonna put this on here in just a second. I'm gonna read raw news from Fox News about any updates and stuff that's going on. This is in reference to the Nancy Guthrie missing persons case that's going on right now. This thing is going like 1,000,000 miles an hour. All right. So I'm going to put it on here and I'm going to read. Okay. So if you just remember the phone number, if you just happen to know any information, it's 1-800-CALL-FBI is the tip line. All right. But if you see something, say something. So I'm going to transition over real quick. Okay. And you see the 3 black and whites. That's what they captured from. When they say they can't get images from your doorbell camera when it's not hooked up, they're wrong, because you can. And this proves it right here. All right. So what I got on here, everything is updated, it looks like. So let's see. Kash Patel was at the Nancy Guthrie command post on Monday, source told Fox News. On Tuesday, Patel personally released the bombshell evidence, videos, and pictures on his X account. That's where I got these pictures from. All right. There's a $50,000 reward involved in the cases. On the FBI on Tuesday confirmed a $50,000 reward in a new wanted poster alongside updated images of a potential person of interest in the investigation and disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. It says, in a post shared on X, FBI said it's offering a reward up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her appearance. It says, in quotations, new images released today show an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. The FBI said the FBI seeks information that will lead to the identification of this individual. And then Savannah Guthrie put out a post and said, someone out there recognizes this person. And if you notice, the guy carries, this might be a telltale indicator. So I'm going to bring my mouse over here. Looking right here. That's how he's carrying his weapon. I don't know very many people will carry a pistol like that, but they call it the appendix carry. I have no idea. I wouldn't even think about carrying a weapon like that ever in my life, but only few people carry a weapon like that. So if you know of anything, call 1-800-CALL-FBI and give this information up. All right. So I'm going to go back to my picture. Okay. So is there any other information I can read on here? Okay. Man, I'm pretty sure that within a few hours they're going to peel this onion back and someone's going to recognize him. They got a 40-second video of him walking around, so you could put 2 and 2 together by the way he walks and the way he bends over. Maybe I didn't get to see too much of the. I'm looking at it right here. I can't put it on my. I tried to drag it to my desktop to take it over, but it wouldn't let me. So if I'm watching it and it shows this guy walking around, but it's on X, okay, and it's on FoxNews.com. So that is what we have at this time. Let's see. I'm going to refresh one more time, see if there's an update. And one person on Fox, the former, this is Sheriff Lamb from the Pima County Sheriff's Department, former sheriff, said he does not believe that the masked individual was at Nancy's Guthrie's home for burglary. He said, I don't think it was a burglary. Something was stolen. Nothing was stolen. And whoever that dude was, he was extremely comfortable because he grabbed some weeds to try to cover the camera when a true burglar or armed home invasion said that they wouldn't even worried about it because they would have been in and out so quick, or they would have just ripped the camera down, not even tried to walk around the video filming something to cover it. He didn't even have his gun out when he approached the door, so I don't think it was a burglary or a home invasion, that this individual was there for a purpose. So hopefully we find out and they take this guy into custody pretty quick. And there was an update just now. Let me refresh one more time. Just a second, and we'll get onward to the JP8 report. Breaking news. Oh, that's that one. That's that 40-second one. Okay, so we're up on that one. And then I'm going to go over to 1 p.m. Central. This is an hour ago. This was updated an hour ago. This is from the New York Post. Terrifying surveillance photos and videos of an armed person in a ski mask tampering with Nancy Guthrie's home security camera on the morning she vanished was released by the FBI on Tuesday. A skin-crawling black and white still photos pulled from a Nest camera. If you remember, okay, so where they got these pictures from what I was just listening to on the way home, I'm a captured audience because I'm driving, right? They said that there's technology in the FBI where they can buffer the images inside of a camera device, which is scary that they can actually do this. And they can, if you do it right, you can extract the images and the video that was on there. If you do it wrong, you'll destroy it, right? And then they said also that ski mask, there's no, they think he has a mustache on, but they say they also possess the technology where they can scale the ski mask back to where it disappears and you can get a pretty good image of what that person looks like. So it's only a matter of time before they get the guy, okay? But remember, he had to have an accomplice because there's no way you're going to drag someone all the way to your vehicle. So there's got to be a second person involved in a vehicle, all right? So remember, 1-800-CALL-FBI. All right, so other than that, let's kick it on with the JP8 report. So if you're already watching, please do me a favor and click the follow button. All right, and then give us a like. I would really appreciate that, even though I deviated with the stated purpose of this podcast. I think this was extremely important. Let's see, if it would have happened to my family, I would be one that's like, please do this. And it would be great if every podcast out there and every news program out there, no matter what your reach is to get those pictures out, because you never know. You never know. All right. So with that, let's go. Remember, give me. I'll start the chat off with the American flag. Okay, there we go. All right. So, oh yeah, and my VA appointment went pretty good this morning. All my stuff insides are pretty good. They want me to do a CT just to get a glimpse of. They want me to get a CT of my liver. I don't mind telling y'all, but just to get a clear picture of what it looks like, because I had higher numbers several months ago and they're back to normal, but they want to just get a good see what's going on in there. All right, and that ain't going to happen until the end of June. And I forgot to tell my wife about that too, so I'll tell her. Believe me, I will tell her in just a few minutes when I get off the air. All right, so America 250. So how long have I been on? I've been on 11 minutes, and everything is going crazy. Let's see, we got 6 people watching right now. Well, thank y'all very much. Don't forget to spread the word, please, okay? And then, let's see. This is a 3-page letter. You know what? I may need to read this in the morning. All right? So we'll put this over there. I'm working out of order today. Okay, so we'll just go this way. So I touched on this a little bit this morning. The president won a case in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is on the West Coast, and it's a liberal appeals court, right? But they voted 2-1 in favor of the president that allows him to remove temporary protective status on illegal aliens from Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Okay, it says a federal appeals court in San Francisco granted a stay allowing the government to proceed with terminating TPS for immigrants. That would be temporary protective status for immigrants from Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua. The reliably liberal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued an order freezing the lower court's ruling that would have vacated Department of Homeland Security's Secretary Kristi Noem's decision to end the protections. The court found that the government was likely to succeed on the grounds that the DHS decision was not arbitrary or capricious, suggesting that the decision-making process was rational. The government is likely to prevail in that the Secretary's decision-making process in terminating TPS for Honduras, Nicaragua, and Nepal was not arbitrary and capricious, court documents said. Last year, Noem sought to terminate refugee status on 3 protected countries, arguing that under TPS, the government must check if the initial reasons for the protection still apply. And Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua all originally received TPS due to specific environmental disasters. Nepal was designated in 2015 following a massive earthquake, and while Honduras and Nicaragua was in 1999, a Hurricane Mitch. I remember that. That's 26 years ago. If you ain't recovered by now, you got something wrong. Hurricane Mitch was a hurricane that went from the Caribbean to the Pacific and then crossed back over from the Pacific back into the Caribbean. It caused a lot of damage. Noem's chief spokeswoman, Tricia McLaughlin, previously noticed last August that TPS protections were always intended to be temporary. And Attorney General Pam Bondi praised the decision, saying it would allow the Trump administration to continue its immigration policies and deport certain immigrants. This is the crucial win from the Justice Department attorneys that helps clear the way for President Trump's continued deportations. As the court found, the government is likely to prevail in its arguments that ended temporary protected status for some immigrants is sound and lawful policy. We are proud to present the Trump administration in court every day. Noam's ruling was previously challenged by National TPS Alliance, who argued that it was arbitrary and capricious and violated the Administrative Procedures Act. On December 31st, 2025, a district judge sided with the plaintiffs and canceled the order. And then, they appealed, and it went through the appeal process, and it was found in favor of the president. All right? So that was 3 countries down for TPS. And then the next ruling that came out was a federal circuit-based judge that ruled that, so what it was is California last month passed a law that allowed California to enforce a law that was just passed, making ICE and federal agents take their mask off. They weren't allowed to wear their mask inside the state at all. But the California Highway Patrol and other officers that were assigned to California was allowed to wear their mask. So it was discriminatory, and it went against the supremacy clause of the United States government, of the Constitution. So it says the Los Angeles-based federal judge on Monday blocked California from enforcing its law that would require ICE agents to remove their masks during immigration enforcement operations. Judge Christina Schneider, appointed during the Clinton administration, granted a preliminary injunction against the No Secret Police Act, arguing that it discriminated against federal government by violating the supremacy clause, like I was just saying. Under the constitutional clause, federal law takes precedence over any conflicting state or local law, rendering the lower level law unenforceable. As Schneider said, the No Secret Police ruling hinged on the California exempting its own state officers while penalizing federal agents. The court finds, this is what she said, the court finds that police officers can perform their federal functions without wearing masks, Schneider said. However, because No Secret Police Act was presently enacted, does not apply equally to all law enforcement in the state. It is unlawfully discriminates against federal officers. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, applauded the ruling in a post on X Monday, saying federal agents are being increasingly targeted for doing their jobs, and warned that that the law would have worsened existing safety risk. Another key court victory thanks to our outstanding Justice Department attorneys. It says, following our arguments, the district court in California blocked the enforcement of the law, and that would have banned federal agents from wearing masks to protect their identities. These agents are harassed, doxxed, obstructed, and attacked on a regular basis just for doing their jobs. We have no tolerance for it. So the president won 2, and there's more to come, right? So just be prepared. All right. Hope everyone's doing good so far. So we'll just get one knocked out of the way real quick. This one, GMAX. That would be Ghislaine Maxwell. That would be, what's his name? Jeffrey Epstein's madame, or whatever you want to call her. So she insisted to get complete clemency for her crimes, and they said no. So she took the Fifth Amendment, and I guess nothing else is going to happen on that one. All right? And then that came out yesterday. All right? So who cares about that? Because she's going back to jail. I mean, I care about the people that are affected. I don't care about her. All right? Get that one clear real quick. Okay. So I have two things on Jasmine Crockett. I thought I had another one printed out. Hold on just a second. Let me go back here. Go back. Where is Crockett? Oh, you know what? I did print this stuff out. It's still on my printer. Okay, I got that one. So before I get the Jasmine Crockett, she thinks she's going to be a U.S. senator. She's not. I would be surprised if she won the primary on March 3rd. If you didn't know, the Texas primary is March 3rd. Everyone here right now knows it because we've got ads all over the place. But first, I want to talk about Wes Moore. He is the current governor of the state of Maryland. All right. So this article, I read a little bit about it. So Westmoreland, Maryland Governor Wes Moore is in a hot seat after report questions claim about grandfather, and KKK. And it says Moore is facing increased criticism on social media over claims about his background. He is the former Army officer that claimed he received the Bronze Star for service, but he had a V device on it temporarily, and they took it off. But, once people see it, they believe it, right? It's a good case of stolen valor. Okay, but back to this story. Maryland's Democrat Governor Wes Moore, widely believed to have White House ambitions, is facing questions over the accuracy of a story about his family's background involving being forced to flee the state of South Carolina due to threats from the KKK. I am literally the grandson of someone who was run out of his country by the Ku Klux Klan, right? Moore told Time Magazine in 2023 in a conversation about he reconciles patriotism with the country's racist past. Right? So, this is a quote. Right. So the fact is, I can be both this grandson of someone who was run out of this country by the KKK and also be the first black governor in the history of the state of Maryland. Moore has frequently referenced his grandfather, James Thomas, as the figure in his story, including during a 2020 appearance on the Yang Speaks podcast, I never heard of it, titled Wes Moore on how the KKK ran his family into exile. And the family detailed how his grandfather was a minister in Winnsboro, South Carolina, who fled to Jamaica after being threatened by the Klan. However, a Washington Free Beacon report last week cast doubt on the specifics of that story. The report claimed that historical records from the Protestant Episcopal Church and contemporary newspaper reports indicate that Thomas's departure was not a secret, middle of the night escape, but an orderly and public professional transfer, that he was appointed to replace a deceased pastor in Jamaica. Additionally, archival data in the diocese's only historical accounts suggest that the white community in Pineville, South Carolina, actually held Thomas's church in high regard for its medical services, with no mention of racial animus or Klan interference during his tenure. Fox News has not independently verified the claims in the report, and Moore's office pushed back in a statement to Fox News. We're not going to litigate a family's century-old oral history with a partisan outlet, a Moore spokesman Amar Musua told Fox News Digital in reference to the Washington Free Beacon report. The broader reality is not in dispute. Oh man, I hate it when is not in dispute. Intimidation and racial terror were pervasive in the Jim Crow South, which was Democrat, and it rarely came with neat documentation. Even Bishop William Alexander Guthrie, whom they cite to suggest there was no hostility, was later murdered amid intense backlash tied to his racial equality work. The governor is focused on doing the job Marylanders elected him to do. Okay, so if it's not so important, why did Liz Warren rely so heavily on being Cherokee? Right? Go figure. What is the fact that he lied about his military awards and his military record? Is that not important also? I mean, if I would have done something like that with all my medals, or did something with my Bronze Star, because I got one for service, not for valor, I would never think about altering that and making myself look better after some of my friends have died for stuff like that. So, Wes Moore may not be running for president after all this. In September, Moore said he is not running for president in 2028 and is excited about serving a full term if he wins re-election in November. I've heard that before. Yeah, I've heard that one before. All right, so that was that one. Let's go back. And where is that? Where is that one article I saw about Jasmine Crockett? I saw it on here. I can't find it. Oh, Susan Collins is running for re-election for the Republican senator in Maine. I know she's not the most conservative Republican, but she does vote Republican a vast majority of the time, and we continue to need more Republicans. That ensures us sustaining a majority in the United States Senate. But I don't see the Jasmine Crockett one. There was that third story, and I don't see it. Watch. I'll sign off the podcast, and guess what? I'll find it, right? Okay, let's continue on. So, Jasmine Crockett said some Republicans would absolutely vote for her in a general election. She asserted that some Republicans would absolutely vote for her in the general election as a freshman congresswoman battles to become the state's Democrat nominee for the Senate. And first, you got to get past James Tallarico. He's a Democrat though. During an appearance on MS Now, the weeknight, Crockett was asked by co-host Michael Steele, another turncoat Republican, whether Republicans could be convinced that she is the representative they need in Washington, in which she would reach the general election. And she said, "Oh, absolutely. Now, Michael, you may be talking about this a little bit more because I think Democrats have a perception of what Republicans want." She argued that Republican voters aren't looking for someone that is Republican-like, and if they were, they would just go and get the real thing. What they want is someone that they know who they are. I have text messages from Republicans that have made it clear that if there's a certain person ends up making it through, they are absolutely voting for me because they know who I am. While Crockett admits that she may not be Republican voters' perfect candidate, she insisted that President Trump wasn't either, and that he is still able to garner their support and win the White House. When Republicans went out and voted for a less than perfect candidate in Donald Trump, they didn't seek the perfection, whereas Democrats typically do. And so, while I may not be the perfect candidate, they know that. I know the issues. You don't know jack, lady. Wow, she's full of it. You know, I saw a campaign commercial for her this morning about it was about 4:00 in the morning, because I was doing show prep and I was talking with my daughter before she left for work. She leaves for work about 4:00 in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden this animated commercial started playing. It was Jasmine Crockett looking like a superhero and stuff. And like I told Rachel, I don't believe that they actually put together that because they're marketing to teenagers and below for a U.S. Senate seat vote. Why would they do that? It's a waste of money. Unless I need a little bit more education when it comes to marketing and advertising. Okay, so this next one is pretty neat too. But while we're waiting, please click that like button and give me a follow by clicking the follow button, please. And then if you like what I've been talking about so far, go ahead and give me an American flag in the chat, or say, "Hey, great job, James. Keep doing it." Okay, give me some oomph for that to continue on. We're at 2:34 right now. I will be signing off at 3 o'clock because I have the Coppers Cove Conservative Club I got to get ready for, which starts 3 hours from now. All right, 3:30, 4:35. Yeah, about 3 hours from now. So this is an opinion piece about Jasmine Crockett comparing driving an 80,000-pound truck in the United States without being able to speak English or read English is the same as driving a rental car in Europe. As someone who has spent decades training professional truck drivers, I take highway safety very seriously. America's economy depends on a national freight network that moves goods through every state, across every major highway corridor, and into every community. When safety standards for commercial drivers are weakened anywhere, the consequences ripple across the state, across the entire country, putting motorists, supply chains, and professional drivers at risk. That's why I'm deeply troubled by recent remarks from Jasmine Crockett during a House Judiciary Committee hearing, suggesting that English language proficiency is not necessary to safely operate a commercial vehicle. She equated it as the same practice as someone driving a rental car in a foreign country where they might not speak the language. Her assertion is misguided, dangerous, and dismissive of the professionalism of America's truck drivers. Operating an 80,000-pound commercial vehicle is not remotely compatible to driving a passenger vehicle. A commercial driver is not simply following a turn-by-turn directions from point A to point B. They are navigating complex highway systems, responding to emergency situations, complying with law enforcement instructions, interpreting roadside signage, understanding weather alerts, and coordinating with dispatchers, first responders, and inspectors, and often under intense pressure. English language proficiency is fundamental to every one of these responsibilities. Now, I'm going to stop there. Okay, so with the fact that she wants to make that comparison, means she pretty much has never been in Europe driving a car. Because when I got stationed in Europe, when you go through Head Start to Germany, you start taking your courses to taking courses for your use of driver's license, which is called U.S. Army Europe, which is almost the same as having international driver's license. When you take an international driver's license, you got to take the course. You can take it here in the United States. Take the course, take the class, take the test, and you got to take an international road signs test also. That's so you're able to drive in Europe or Mexico or anywhere else that you really can't use a state issued driver's license for, like Korea and stuff like that, right? So usually it takes the average American 2 attempts to pass the signage test part of it. I forgot. I think it took me twice. I think I got a 94 the first time, and I do believe you needed a 95 back then. This was back in the early 90s when I took it. All right. But that is the only way. So when you go to Europe, and you get a rental car, you got to have an international driver's license. So she was misspoken on that big time because she does not understand like usual. All right. Poor old Jasmine. All right. So the next is this is like a Texas History Day. All right. So the next is about Gene Wu. Gene Wu is a Texas state representative in the Houston area that he actually went AWOL a couple times. But, we need to hold that against him. But Texas Democrat blasted for telling Latino, Black, Asian people to unite against the oppressor and take over the U.S. That's sedition. That's insurrection. He needs to be arrested for that. The leader of the Democrats' Texas House of Representatives, State Representative Gene Wu, is facing conservative backlash after a clip resurfaced of him calling on various racial groups to unite against the common oppressor. The resurfaced clip was from 31 December 2024, which is barely a year ago. Episode of Define America podcast. These Democrats go in some weird places. With Antonio Vargas titled, "In this Texas district, 1/3 of the residents are undocumented." Vargas argued that the future of the United States will be decided by Texas. asking Wu to give him the big picture. And Wu said one of the most powerful forces driving modern politics, particularly regarding immigration, is that white people in America are concerned about becoming a racially, politically minority. The scary thing for me is what is driving this newest round of anti-immigrant sentiment is purely a sense of white nationalism. Wu said, there's a sense of America just belongs to white people, that this was a lot of people that believe in God gave America to white people to rule, and that anytime that immigrants, minorities make progress in this country, that is seen as a slight against them. He continued. It's a very racist sentiment on his behalf, and considering that he is a Democrat, and Democrats love the pull and throw the race car, I don't believe that they have never thrown a race card on Representative Wu, which they should. He shouldn't even be in the State House with that going on. Okay, I didn't mean to whistle like that. Congressman Chip Roy, he's running for Attorney General, called on Wu to resign. I honestly think he needs to be arrested, because that is definitely insightful. I can't find that one article. Okay, so very racist state representative down in the Houston area. Okay, and then you'll like this one. Here in Texas, Abraham George, which is our state GOP chair, he's running for re-election, and he is. This is from the Texas Scorecard. Texas GOP chair says House and Senate redistricting should definitely happen. George says the issue of withdrawing the Texas legislature maps is being discussed ahead of next legislative session. They should have done it all at the same time. The Republican Party of Texas Chair Abraham George says Republican lawmakers should seriously consider another round of redistricting for the State House and Senate, arguing that the party has the opportunity to further solidify its gains leading in the next election cycle. It should happen. That definitely should happen. George told the Scorecard when he asked whether Republicans should pursue additional redistricting beyond the congressional maps. We have that opportunity to do that. What's his name? Abraham said. George said that the issue is actively being discussed, noting conversations with State Representative Todd Hunter, who helped draw the congressional redistricting effort last year. There are a couple of lawsuits that they're still waiting to see how it's going to play out, and definitely on the table. And George pointed to the congressional redistricting map as one of the most unifying moments for Texas Republicans in recent years, particularly after Democrat lawmakers fled the state in an attempt to block the maps. Every Republican, regardless if you call them a rhino or moderate or far right, everyone is on the same page for that same thing. There is no confusion. We want the seats and we want this done. All right? So, let's see if that even happens. That would be, wow. That'd be some serious redistricting. I could see House District 59, which is one I'm in, getting in even smaller, to the point where we may be absorbed by just our portion by Hillary Hickland or something like that, because we're at the very southern tip of House District 59. If I had the map, I could show you, but we come down to a point like this, and it encompasses 8 counties. If they redistricted, I bet it would move up. It would move up or it would move down, and then we would be getting a new representative, because Shelby Slauson lives in Stephenville, which is a good drive away. All right, so I'm gonna delete that one and mark it off since I just read it. All right, what do we got? 246. Tulsi Gabbard denies wrongdoing over delayed whistleblower complaint referral to Congress members baseless. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard denied any wrongdoing on Saturday as Democrats questioned why a whistleblower complaint filed against her last May took nearly a year before it was referred to Congress. Senator Mark Warner and his friends in the propaganda media have reportedly lied. What does that say? Virginia Democrat Senator Mark Warner and his friends in the propaganda media have repeatedly lied to the American people that I, or the ODNI, hid whistleblower complaint in a safe for 8 months, Gabbard wrote in a lengthy X. This is a blatant lie. She continued, I am not now, nor have I ever been, in possession or control of a whistleblower's complaint, so I obviously could not have hidden it. It is safe. Binary, I see Inspector General Tamara Johnson is in possession and is responsible for the complaints for months. All right. Take that as it may. I think she's doing very, very good job as the what do you call it? As the National Intelligence Director. All right, and she was an MP / MI officer anyway. And then the last one I got here, what are we looking at? 248. We're probably going to be finishing less than an hour. Okay. Not ICE nabs convicted pedophiles and murderers over the weekend despite smears at Super Bowl, risking their lives, which is true. A spokesman for the Trump Department of Homeland Security told Fox News Digital that despite ICE having demonized at the Sugar Bowl, agents continue to carry out operations arresting pedophiles, murderers, and even rapists over the weekend. And President Trump on many occasions have issues with the Super Bowl, especially at the halftime show, who featured Latin trap artist, never heard of that one, Bad Bunny. The performer, whose real name is Benito Ocasio, wonder if he's related to Ocasio-Cortez. Lost my track. Oh yeah, has been highly critical of ICE and even cursed out agents in a video posted on social media. DHS said while law enforcement officers were demonized at the Super Bowl, our officers were not risking their lives to arrest public safety threats and American patriots. All right. So if you're a legal alien and you were at the Super Bowl or around the Super Bowl, you were going to get caught. All right. So we're going to stop there for right now. I'm going to go over the stuff that happened over the weekend. Right here. So we had a GOP forum last night in Gatesville at the Gatesville Civic Center. People from every race showed up except for district clerk. Everyone did a really good job. It was very friendly. It was unlike what it was on Saturday. But it was really good. The only problem I had was uploading to Rumble. So I had to actually upload to ScrewTube. I felt really bad about it. All right. And then, so early vote starts on the 17th to the 27th of February, and the primaries March 3rd. And if there's the runoff, it's May 26th. All right. And then we have the Lincoln Reagan dinner, right, which is on the 21st of February in Gatesville, right? I'm going to go ahead and transition over so you can see it. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is going to be our featured speaker. He is, you can get to it through that QR code or go to the show notes that are on where the podcast starts, right? And you can buy your tickets through that. And the tickets are $60 a person or $100 a couple, all right? So I hope everyone has the opportunity to buy tickets there and goes. I'm going to be there. Me and a couple of friends of mine bought a whole table for our spouses. So, yeah, give us a go, and let's go out and have some fun there, all right? There's going to be auction, live auction, closed auction, and there's going to be live auction. Oh, cupcakes, gift cupcakes with prizes labeled inside. So, like I can tell you one, we're giving away a whole bunch of gift cards from Chick-fil-A. We'll stop at that one. All right. Go back to me. And then right there. See, we only made it to 12:53 today. So just remember, we'll go back to there. If you see that guy right there is responsible for doing something with Nancy Guthrie, but if you see that guy, you recognize him with his baklava or ski mask, those fancy gloves he's got on, or the backpack he's wearing. He's a person of interest. Go ahead and call the police so they can determine if he's guilty or an acquaintance or anything, okay? All right. So, yeah, we're gonna close up shop a little bit early, but keep that family in your prayers. And if you see something, say something. All right. All right. So, here are my socials. I'm on X at James Pierce Jr. I'm on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. I'm on YouTube at the JP8 Report 67. And I'm on True Social at James A. Pierce. And if you want to send me an email, I do take emails at jp8report@gmail.com. All right. So, other than that, let's see what breaking news. Let's see. Johnson forced to delay key Trump agenda vote over GOP mutiny. Is that, you think that's a SAVE Act? Hold on just a second here before we sign off. Just a second. Let me see. Okay. So, GOP mutiny forces House Speaker Mike Johnson to delay vote on key piece of Trump's agenda. Speaker Johnson was forced to delay on a key vote in the House of Representatives Tuesday as GOP leaders, to quell burgeoning mutiny within their ranks. House Republican leaders had planned for a measure in the early afternoon that successfully would block the House from voting on reversing President Trump's tariffs. It comes after Democrats plan to force such a vote, specifically targeting Trump's tariffs on Canada sometime this week. Okay, I see. Wonder why they can't get the vote. It would make sense. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so we're just averaging that number right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and sign off for the day. We made it 56 minutes, which is good. Does anyone have any comments or anything? Any suggestions? Any comment about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie? Any comments? Concerns? Nothing? Okay. All right. I see how it is. Remember, if y'all want to buy tickets to the Lincoln Reagan dinner, please do so. Go to the show notes, and at the very bottom you'll see a link. It says secure.anadot.com. That's where you click on to get tickets. All right. So if there's nothing more, I'm going to let y'all go. All right. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.